Hello, everybody. It's Phoenix Tiger back again, and I'm here in my little studio thing, and I'm just gonna get right into it. I'm very thankful to be here. About a year ago, I had, I guess you could say, a spiritual awakening. You could say I started looking at life a little differently. I started being more appreciative of things. I started realizing the way I treated myself wasn't very fair. Okay? Now, once I started treating myself better, I realized things in my life started looking better. I realized the more I focused on myself and my well-being, the more my energy increased. And I felt like, I don't know. So anyway, about a year ago I had a spiritual awakening, you could say. And what had happened was quite interesting. You wouldn't believe me, but I'll talk about it because it is where it is. So, here I am. I got myself a yoga mat. I'm here. I do yoga. I'm Phoenix. My name is Phoenix Tiger. It's my name. And this is my journey. And I've been on a journey. And today, I choose to take y'all on my journey. On my past journey and on the journey of my here and now. And at this here and now, I'm here just showing you I'm touching my toes. Left and right. Touching the floor. Put my feet together. Reach for the sky. As high as you can go. Breathe. Hold it. Go back and forth. Align straight. Put your arms down. Slow. Breathe. Touch toes. Hold it. Breathe. Up. Anyways, so the story goes, as I'm about to tell you, is I talked to a ghost. A voice of my past, you should say. Now, this ghost I'm sorry. Anyways, I'm trying to get my head around how I'm wording this for y'all. So, anyways, it was about a year ago in May, right around Mother's Day or so, and my mother, whom had been dead about 6 years or so, 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 6 years. Yeah. So, anywho, last year my mother had been dead 6 years. Came to visit me at work. I was working at this warehouse and I was wrapping product. And it just so happened at this warehouse that I was working at, there was a walk-in cooler. And that's where I was wrapping everything. And this is where it happened. So what had happened was, here we go. I talked talk to my dead mother after she had been dead for 6 years. And lo and behold, this mother of mine had also worked at this same warehouse that I was working at. And I had used to give her rides to work at this same warehouse when I was a child. And it was at this warehouse that I found a way for me to get myself my own vehicle. My life had come full circle. But at that moment, my mother came to me. Like I told you, she had worked at this factory. And I was working at this factory, minding my own business. I was all by myself. So nobody was talking to me, but I started hearing these things in my head. I said, stop. I don't want to hear it. I'm not listening. Because it was a voice I heard. It's kind of funny. Because the voice I heard was hers. Even funnier, when she was alive and people would call, they would mistaken her voice for my voice. She sounded a lot like me. It was kind of crazy. So, anywho, I'm here, and I'm going to tell you, I used to give this woman a ride to work. I used to pick her up from work at this job when I was a teenager. Like I said, she's been dead 6 years. And when she died, I myself, I was resentful. I was bitter. Because 2 years prior to that, 2 years prior to her death, she disowned me. My mother disowned me. That's what she said. She said in a letter. I have a letter somewhere. I don't know what letter it is. Maybe, maybe not. It's the past in a spot. It happens. But the point is, my mother had disowned me in a letter. And in this letter, it was over a teapot, a ceramic teapot that I had happened to have at a yard sale. Whatever. It was something stupid. Family drama. I should have resolved it, but I didn't because she knew. She knew while she was alive that if she told me those words, I disown you. The way I am, very analytical, very methodical, very black and white at one point. I used to be. At one point. Very black and white. Now I'm trying to throw black-white colors. I'm a little bit black today. I love it. But hey, the point is, here's the story. I tell you, it's true. So, the ghost of my mother had come to visit me. At this job, I was working, mind my own business. I keep repeating myself. You have to listen to these words. Because life's a circle. And that's the point. You'll come to see, you'll run into the same things over and over again until you learn to handle it differently, to handle it better. Because everybody says they want change in life. But when you say you want change in life, you say it. But does anybody ever put forth the effort to make that change? That's the question I ask you guys. You see, you could talk about it and be like, hey, can you touch your toes? Yes, I can touch my toes. Of course I can. Who can't? Most people can. Could you step on your toes? Maybe. I can. You stand on one foot? Maybe. I can. That's not the point. The point is, a year ago, in May, Mother's Day, right around that time, I was minding my own business, and a ghost came and said, "Hey, Bobby. Hey, Bobby, Bob. Robert, bud. Hey, Bobby. Guess what? Oh, how are you doing?" I'm like, "Look, I know it's Mother's Day. I know Mother's Day is right around the corner. And, I see all these moms out there. And, you weren't the greatest of moms. You disowned me." I was having this conversation with this woman. And she laughed at me. She's a Taurus. What do you expect? There's a story. 2 years before she died, she disowned me. So, I did not talk to her. I moved away from where I was. I lived right above her. She lived on the bottom floor. I lived on the second floor. And somehow, some way, life kept throwing monkey wrenches. I kept throwing monkey wrenches into my own life. Trust that. I see it now. What are you going to do? But hey, you live, you learn. Sometimes you just gotta shut your mouth. When somebody wants to have something to say, let them say it. Maybe it's not about you. Maybe it's not about you at all. Maybe you're just the target they choose. Maybe they see in you something they don't like in themselves. It happens. So, as I said, I used to take this woman this job and I mind my own business, and she comes to say, "Hello?" She says, "Hello?" I said, "What are you doing here?" She says, "It's Mother's Day." I'm like, "Yeah, and you disowned me. What kind of mother are you?" "What kind of mother are you?" I asked her. "A dead woman for 6 years? Telling you the truth." "Yeah, no, believe me not, right? I tell you the truth. I don't lie." So, as I said, 2 years I'd not talked to this woman. And then someone from the family of the Bailey name got a hold of me through Facebook and told me that she's at the hospice. And luckily a friend helped me go see her for the last time. I will hold that in my memory. I didn't get no pictures. They're all here. I have a semi-photographic memory of most of my life. It's kind of crazy. And I'm here trying to decipher some of that with y'all. So, as I said, somebody, somewhere, her sister told me that she's dying. She's at the hospice. Go see her. She ain't got long. This is like July 2017. Okay, folks? July of 2017 is when she decided that she's giving her last lesson. Folks, when somebody's being mean to you, when somebody's pushing you away, listen to them. Maybe they know something you don't. So the point is, I tell you this story. I'm talking to this dead woman of 6 years. But right now she's alive. So I go to talk to her at the hospice center after not seeing her for 2 years. Okay? So, I'm over there at the hospice center. And she saw me come in. And the friend that had taken me had remembered her from the past. You know, she had her moments, you know, whatever. The point is, it was all about me and trying to get what I needed out of that conversation, that moment. So I was up there. It was July. It was probably the first or second day of July. She wasn't much longer for this world. About 2 weeks. I think it was July 21st or 22nd. Right around summer solstice. I believe that was it was, right? June or July. I don't know when summer kicks off, but it's like the 20-something. Anyway, I don't know exactly the date, but I didn't go to her funeral. I gave a nasty email back to the person of the funeral home, which I probably still have somewhere, and I kind of not. The point is, we left on bad terms. When she died, I wasn't too happy because she had disowned me. So I took it pretty hard. When she died, I was like, okay, yeah, good for you. Good for you. You could have been there for me, but you weren't. And I tried to be there for you at any time I had a chance. I tried to be there for you. I kept telling myself, that's what I was telling myself. It wasn't until the moment that I started really telling myself that what I want to do, what I've always wanted to do, is be better. Not better than you. Not better than anybody out there. Better than myself. I've always tried to be a good person inside, and I failed. I have failed many times. Many times I look and I'm like, wow, was that me? Yes. Yes, indeed, that was you. But I had to do those things. I had to be stupid. Folks, you have to be stupid out there. Stupid up here. Stupid in here. To ever become smart. You have to learn your lessons out there. You have to have your experiences, people. Anyway, so I said, I'm at the hospice. And I'm talking to my mother. Well, a 30-minute conversation, 40 minutes. No more, no less. Trust me, I'm good with time most of the time. So, we're talking. And she seems to know that I was going to be there. That I was coming. That she expected to see me. And she was happy to see me. She was grateful to see me. Like I had never left. Excuse me? Like she had done nothing ever wrong in her life. To me. To anybody. And I'm asking her and I'm talking to her and I'm looking for excuses. I'm looking for an apology. But being a bull-headed Taurus as she was. Nothing against Taurus. They're great people. I love them. Because my mother was a great person. She told her lessons in a hard knock life kind of way. So I'm talking to her, and this is after 2 years of not seeing her. And she's acting as if I'm cool, you're cool, we're cool. She's going home. She's going home in a couple of days. What she did go home in a couple of days. And in a couple of weeks, she ended up going on. Okay? She did what she had to do. So, the point is, when I was there and she was talking to me, I keep remembering, I keep on asking, I was like, hey, remember when you used to drink with me? How'd you feel? You know, I apologized for her, about apologizing about my feelings with her. And I was like, hey, I was looking for an apology from her, but she never gave it to me. But instead, she was just trying to be in that moment, that one moment. My mother. I walked with her before she died. While we lived together, I lived above her like I told y'all. 2 separate apartments. But the cancer had come back, and she wanted to go for walks. She wanted to go for a walk with me and my ex. She was quite slow at it. Took a couple of steps and stopped. Looked around. Listen to me, people. I'm sorry. I'm crying. Okay? Listen to me. Because these are the moments you're going to forget. These are the moments that you should remember. These are the moments that you don't think matter. Okay? Because I remember every last little moment. So, I tell you this right now, this happened. So, she wants to walk. She's got a cane. She's walking with a little cane, and we're walking down the street, and he's got these springtime or so. She comes up to the flowering tree, and she starts smelling the flowers on the tree. She was smelling it, and she literally says the words, stop and smell the flowers. Common saying, you know, and she just went, I laughed, it's cool, yeah, you're right. And then we got a picture. It's all up here. There's a bush, tree, flowering. She walked right up to it. Started smelling the flower. Says, you gotta stop and smell the flower, she said. She said that's what she said. Like I said, she was, had a cane. Walking. Quite slow, very painful. So, she disowned me 2 years. My life goes into a tailspin. Okay. I grab myself. I pick myself up. And I decide that I'm not going to give up. Not once. Not twice. Every time I fell, I got up. Every time I lost a job, I got a better job. I got an apartment. I got a car. I got this. I got that. And I got it for myself. I got it for me. Okay, folks? When life gets you down, you grab life. You take it. You take it back. So during all this time, my life had crumbled. My mother disowned me. I lost the person I was with for 14 and a half years. It was my fault. I pushed everything away. I hated everything. Most of all, I hated myself. most of all, I hated myself, folks. But during it all, I still felt that I can do this. And I did it. But I kept falling, and I kept falling, and every time I kept falling, I kept on getting up and doing better. So when life knocks you down, you get up. You smell the flowers. You stay in the moment, folks. Sometimes somebody can't walk that fast. Walk a little slower. Sometimes life moves at different speeds for different people, folks. You gotta remember that. But most of all, you gotta live in the now. You gotta live in the here. So as I said, my mother comes to me and she says, "Hello, it's Mother's Day." I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And like I said, when I was at the hospice, she was like, "Hello, how you doing?" She invited me to dinner. She said, "I'm going home. Let's have dinner." I'm like, "Yo, you disowned me. We're not having dinner. That's not how, we're not cool like that." She never apologized. She didn't do anything like that. Come on, folks. Not right, right? So, that's the point. But 6 years later, she comes to me. I'm at work. Mind my business. And she says, "I love you." She told me she loved me. I looked at her, I'm like, "How?" And that's when I broke down, I cried. Because when I asked her how she loved me, how she's going to give me up and disown me, I disowned her because of those words. Folks, sometimes words are just words. Sometimes people know people a little bit too well, so she said she disowns me. But guess what? She never did. She knew I would push everything away, and I did. I needed change. I needed growth. And sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to start over, start fresh. And she knew. So when she came to me 6 years later, she said, "Hi, I love you." "How do you love me?" She said, "Remember how I disowned you? I knew how stubborn you are. I know how stubborn you are." Oh. So, I did not see her for 2 years, and I did not watch her die. For 2 years, her cancer came back. For 2 years, I was in a different town. For 2 years, my life was crumbling around me while she was dying. Okay? And never, not once did I go to see her. Not till that one day at hospice. And then when she invited me to dinner, she said, "Why don't you come to dinner? I'll be out of here in a couple days. You know where I'm at. You know where I live." Guess what? I never went. You know why? Because I wasn't there yet. It took me 6 years to get there. And you know where there was? That woman loved me so much. This is the same woman before I was a year old. My name was Vincent. I was born, my name was Vincent. Pretty crazy. That's what the story I'm told. That's a true story. Not kidding. So, she gave me up. She gave me up for adoption, and the people who adopted me, they named me Robert Paul Wyman. And I lived as Robert Paul Wyman for many, many years. I'd say 14 years to be exact, now that I think about it. Kind of funny, that number keeps coming up. So I lived as Robert Wyman for 14 years. And then I was changed to Robert Martin Bailey. And I lived that until from the age of 15, 14 and a half, 15, I believe I was. Until just recently, 44. However many years that is. I'm not going to do the math right now in my head because that's too much effort. My brain's in other places. So the point I make, as I'm scatterbrained, as I'm still doing these stretches and yogas, is when she invited me that day at the hospice center. And I said, hell no, I won't go. My heart wasn't ready. 6 years, she said, I love you at Mother's Day. And I said, hey, you gave me up at birth because she couldn't handle me. She wasn't capable. She didn't have a good enough job. She didn't have a stable house environment. So she gave me up to people who did. People who couldn't have children. I was a gift to them. That's what I was. And so as I was a gift, she gave me up. So the hardest thing a mother could ever do is give up the child. And she did. I never knew her as my mother until I was 13, 14 years old. Everybody always introduced me whenever I saw her at family reunions, which she was usually told to stay away. Because I was a little smarter than that. My intuition was way above. My intuition is way above. Let's put it that way. There was one story at one cookout. I don't have a recollection of this. I think I was like 4. Maybe even younger. Point is, the story I was told was I made a Lego dinosaur out of Mega Bloks or whatever. And I ran right up to her. She was my aunt. And I said, hey, auntie, blah, blah, blah. But I, was hanging around her, more than she was, I knew. I knew. But I didn't know. And then later in life, she comes to see me, and she kind of tells me, she kind of says something. And I kind of already knew. I'm like, yeah, kind of, something. She used to buy me Italian ice at this one store in town. I'll always have that memory. But yeah, things always go south sometimes, and you have to just roll with the punches. So as I said, when I was born, she couldn't handle me, so she gave me up. The hardest thing for a mother to do, she gave her firstborn son up. And as life is a spiral, sometimes things come full circle. And she tried, and I messed up, and things just happen. So I met her as my mother, and I was like, yeah, I always kind of knew. Yeah, wink, wink. We all kind of brushed that under the table. I was on one side of the family, other side of the family, blah, blah, blah. I was pushed around here, pushed around there. I've always been the black sheep. anywhere I went. You know, I fit in everywhere and I fit in nowhere. Let's put it that way. True story. I'll let you know. So, 6 years later, she comes to me as I mind my own business at work and says, "Hi, I love you." And it was that moment that I said, "I love you too." And she said, "Why aren't you nicer to yourself?" Because I don't deserve it. Never, ever talk bad about yourself to yourself because yourself thinks it's true. Always talk in a positive manner about yourself, about others, about everything. I tell you, folks, you change your mindset, you change your mind, you change your life, you take small steps each and every day. So when she said she disowned me 2 years before her death, what she really said was, "I love you enough to not make you watch me die of cancer." Because when she gave me up in the beginning, the person she gave me up to, she ended up dying of cancer. I was only 6 years old. I was a little one. That blanket back there was a labor of love. That woman, she made that by hand. It's had many mendings over the years, but that blanket's probably about 42 years old. I'm 44. I've had that blanket as long as I can remember. It was made by my mother who died when I was 6. But of course, I found out that that was just somebody who adopted me. Yeah. And then my real mother, who gave me up to this woman, got me back years later. When I was a teenager, I was 14. Okay? Now, I'm a 14-year-old rebellious little punk who just figured out that his whole life was a lie. And I blamed everybody else. I never really was happy, never truly appreciated where I was at the moment. Never appreciated wherever I was at any moment in time. You gotta remember this, folks. At any given moment in time, it could be your last time. It could be your last moment. So yes, when I finally said, "Hi, I love you too, Mom," after 6 years, 6 years of me saying that she could have been better to me, she could have done this, she could have done that, she could have this, that, and the other. But what she did do, she left memories. Okay? Better memories than me watching her whittle away again to nothing. Because I had come back and I had watched her almost die once, and she fought. She fought to be stronger, and then she beat, and then she pushed me away like I am so great. And I never realized she did what I do. I'm just like my mother. I thank you. I am just like my mother. And I am Phoenix Tiger, today, because of her. Because she never actually gave up on me. It was me who gave up on myself. Even though I was fighting to be better, to be stronger, to do the next best thing, I was never happy until I realized why I wasn't happy. I was never happy because I never accepted myself for being myself, for going through these moments in life. And rather than focusing on these moments that had changed me, had broken me, had buried me in the darkness, had pushed me to my limits. My mother died, my father died. I lost the woman I was with for 14 and a half years, all within the same moments, all within months of them apart. All within months apart, I did all this. All while trying to quit drinking. I haven't drank alcohol in 8 years. More than 8 years now. It is what it is. It is. I'm just sitting here Indian style, things I couldn't do. Telling stories. Stretching, holding poses that I couldn't do. Because one day I woke up and I said, I want better. I want better for me. I want to be happy for me, for myself. I no longer want to live day to day, paycheck to paycheck, rent day to rent day. I no longer want to live this life. I don't want to live this life like this anymore. That's what I said. And so I made changes. Little small changes. Small changes in my eating habits. I started eating more often. Less portions. I started moving more and doing more things and stretching in ways I couldn't do before. And each day I find myself being able to do it better. Stretching further than I was the day before. Okay? And so each day I stretch further and I reach further and I try to grab further. Because I know this is my one last chance, my one last life to live. And even if it's not, I'll be here. Phoenix Tiger 79. On YouTube. Stretching. Doing yoga. Showing you how simple it is. Stretch left. Stretch right. Stretch up. Up. Breathe. Down. Lean back. Stretch up. Breathe. So as I said, folks, I appreciate each and every one of you all. I appreciate each and every moment. Because in this life, that's all we have is moments. And that's all I want to say today. Okay. So, folks, be a little nicer to yourself. Trust me, you'll thank yourself later for it. Forget the negativity in your life. If there's negativity in life, trust me, you've faced that negativity before. You'll face it again. Breathe. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in everything good around you. Breathe out everything bad. Take in the moments you see of beauty. The moments of decay. Still hold them with reverence. Because you can't have beauty without the beast. Okay? You have to have both in life. The hard part, the trick, is to not get focused and stuck in the moment. Just live each moment in the moment. I know it's hard to understand. I'm crazy. Like I said, lift left, lift right, up, twist, twist, up, down. Okay. Touch toes. Touch toes. I appreciate everybody out there. Thank you all. It's Phoenix Tiger. 79, folks. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. And believe me, every moment counts. Just try to do the next best thing. If that's all you can do. And after you do that, remember to smile. Because your smile might make somebody else smile. Laugh. Enjoy yourself. Find the little joys in your life. Things that make you happy. Do that. Do the things that make you happy. Phoenix Tiger 79. Thank you all again. Please like, share, subscribe. Tell your friends.